So this is the 2017 Honda Pilot Elite. I did a video on the Touring a little while back, but I still wanted to show you guys the Elite. The exterior color of this particular Pilot is Crystal Black Pearl. I like the Pilots in black. It sort of hides the body lines, but it still looks pretty nice, especially in the Touring and Elite trim with these 20-inch alloys. And it doesn't really look that much of a van in this color. It sort of hides that vanish look, because I've heard some people saying it looks like a van a little bit. But anyways, let's get up close and personal with the all-new Pilot Elite. So starting off, here's the key fob with your lock, unlock, remote start, power tailgate, and panic button. So to use remote start, just double tap the lock button until the car beeps, and then press and hold the start button for about 5 to 10 seconds. It'll flash to confirm that it's on. And to shut the car off, just press and hold the button again. So since this Pilot has the smart key access system that's actually standard on the EX and above, you do have keyless entry. So just walk up to the car with the car locked, and you can have your key in your pocket or your purse and just grab the handle to unlock it. And then to lock it, just press the button on the door handle. So you have a black leather interior with a 10-way power driver's seat and an 8-way power passenger seat. It is perforated leather with gray stitching. Pretty soft seats. These are heated and cooled. I'll go through that later. But pretty comfortable looking seat. I've sat in these before, so I would definitely not mind being on a long road trip with these seats. So here's the door panel. This is all soft touch material right here. You have a soft touch armrest with stitching on the sides. Your driver and passenger side windows are automatic. Here are your door locks and window locks, and you have 2-person memory for your driver's seat. It also sets with the mirrors too. Here's your trunk release and fuel release, and you have a bunch of storage all throughout the door, and your speaker with a puddle lamp. Right here are your mirror controls. Your econ button basically maximizes fuel economy, but you will feel a change in throttle response. Here's your parking sensors button, lane departure warning button, traction control off, and pre-collision braking off button. Here's your hood release. Your parking brake is right there. And then this is where you adjust your steering wheel. It is tilt and telescopic. So let's get inside. So you get a nice solid thud when you close the door of the car. So to start the Pilot, just make sure that the key fob is anywhere inside the car. Put your foot on the brake and press the start button to go. So starting off, you have a 4-spoked leather-wrapped steering wheel. It is heated only on the Elite. There's the button right there. Now you have some piano black trim all throughout the dash, like on the door panel. This is a plastic, by the way. Not really a hard touch plastic, but it is plastic. Here's more plastic right here. Here's more of that piano black trim. All of the dash is soft touch and it is stitched. I'm pretty sure it's faux stitching, but it looks pretty high quality. You have some brushed aluminum trim right here and a lot of piano black here. I'm not really a fan of piano black because it's a fingerprint magnet and dust shows on it. As you can see, I'm not sure if you can really see the dust, but it does show there. So that's just one small problem that I have. It also shows down here too. There's more of that piano black. It's also on that door panel. but it's not that bad. So on the steering wheel, you have your audio controls to change your sources, presets, volume. Your menu buttons are right here. Here's your heated steering wheel button. Here's to pick up. Here are your Bluetooth and voice control buttons to pick up, hang up, and to use voice control or Siri eyes free. Now on this side are your cruise control settings. So here's to turn it on and off. Here's to set and resume, and to accelerate or decelerate. Here's your cancel button. Here's adaptive cruise control, which follows the car in front of you while you're in cruise control. So it automatically adapts to that speed. Here's your lane keep assist button, which holds the car in the lane. And here are your information screen buttons to scroll up and down. So looking at that, here's your trip computer A, B. Here's your compass. Your temperature also does show on the bottom. Tire pressure monitor, oil life. And this is just to change the speedometer from kilometers to miles, or just a blank screen. So on the left you have your tachometer. In the center you have your information screen and your digital speedometer. And on the right you have your temperature gauge and fuel gauge. One cool thing is that the pilots with the 9-speed, the Touring and Elite, have paddle shifters on both sides. So here's to downshift and there's to upshift. And here are your headlight controls, they are automatic. You also have auto high beams. And here are your wiper controls, these are rain sensing only on the Elite. And here's your panel switch dimmer right there. Here's your start stop button. You have the piano black like I said before. And on the EX and above you have this 8-inch touchscreen display, and it uses Honda Link, Honda's infotainment system. So starting at navigation, it's Garmin based, so it's pretty simple to use, and the touchscreen is very fast too. So here's your compass and your clock on the top right. Right there it would just show your elevation or distance of, or another compass. Here's to search, it's basically like the menu button, and here is, you also have real-time traffic. So if you hit where to, you can categorize any destination however you want, by restaurants, places of interest, you know, all that kind of stuff, and gas stations. You can also set your home address too. So overall it's pretty easy to use. Phone, my phone isn't paired to the car right now, but you can make calls, receive calls, and listen to music through Bluetooth. There's also Apple CarPlay, which is new for the 2017. Here's information. So here's your trip computer. It's basically like on the information screen. Now, by the way, one thing that I don't like about this screen is that it's a fingerprint magnet, because I've only been touching it for maybe a minute or so, and it's already getting fingerprints on it. You have your clock, you can just set that up, or you can change your wallpaper by putting a flash drive in the car. Now audio, here's XM radio. Your different sources are there, like AM, FM, XM, DVD, USB, iPod, Pandora, which syncs to your phone, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I'll go through that later. You also have an aux jack and HDMI ports in the back. Honda Link, there's that. And there's your rear audio, so they could control, whoever's in the back can control whatever they're listening to. There's smartphone connection, that's Apple CarPlay. I'll go through that right now. So to use CarPlay, you use the first USB port. It's 1.5 amp, this one is 2.5 amps. But they both charge your phone, but the first one uses CarPlay, and you can just put your phone down there. Now going into CarPlay, it looks just like how your phone's interface would. So there's phone, you also have Siri.
You have some voicemail messages.
So here you can see all your contacts, you can dial, here's your voicemails, it'll read it to you, and here's your recent calls. And music, it's the same on your phone. Apple Maps, so even if you had something like an EXL without navigation, you wouldn't really feel left out because you still have Apple Maps. You can't use any other apps like Waze or Google Maps for iPhones. Here's to set your destinations. There's all that stuff there. Here are your destinations. You can categorize just like the Garmin by gas stations, stuff like that, and your favorites. There's to set your destination.
Where would you like to go?
By Siri. Messages.
To whom should I?
So it shows all that stuff there. It reads unread messages to you while you're driving, and you can respond back. Now playing, it's just whatever's playing right now on the music. There's Honda, which goes back to the regular interface, just like the home button. There's podcasts and audiobooks, or whatever you have on your phone. Right now, on my phone, I have Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Pandora, so that all shows up there. So whatever you were listening to shows up in the car. What's the weather like?
today. The temperature will range from 44 degrees to 62 degrees.
So that's just like how you'd use Siri, just like on your phone. I really like CarPlay. I would definitely use it a lot more than the regular Honda's interface. Here are your hazard lights, and down here you have tri-zone automatic climate control. That's standard on the EX and above. So here's your driver's side temperature, your passenger side temperature, and your rear settings. So you could change their fan speed and temperature by the back, or just turn it completely off. Here's your sync button, which makes both sides the same. Well, all three zones the same. Here's your different modes, and your fan speed right there. Your AC button's right there, and your recirc button is here. Here's your auto button, your rear settings to lock it, to change the settings from there. Here's your front and rear defrost. You also have heated mirrors too. Here's your DVD slot to enter your DVD for the rear entertainment system. There's your rear power button and your eject button. Now, only on the Elite you have ventilated and heated seats. All other models just have either heated seats or just regular. Now, you really feel the ventilation on these seats. It heats or cools the seat bottom and the back, and you can really feel it very quickly. Down here is just a storage cubby to put your phone or whatever. It does have a removable rubber tray. Just snaps right in there. So it's easy to clean. I like that. Right here are two cup holders. They do have lights that turn on with the headlights. If you can see that, there it's like a blue accent. Pretty cool. I like it. It really shows up at night too. So you have that piano black like I talked about before, right there. Now, the Pilot Elite and Touring has this 9-speed automatic transmission. It is push button. So you push it down for park, click it back for reverse. Your mirrors do tilt down in reverse, and as you can hear, the parking sensors are going off. Let's turn that off. And you do have guidance lines, and they are dynamic, so they steer with the wheel. And it is a 3-view system, so here's your wide view, normal view, and top-down view. Now you also have rear cross traffic alert. That's this little button right there. So the car is watching out for you, and if you're going to run into something while you're backing up, it'll actually beep first, and then it'll slam on the brakes for you to try to prevent a crash. You push it down for neutral. There's also car wash mode if you hold it down and push it down for drive and sport. That's when you could use your paddle shifters and you could really feel the 280 horsepower of this car. Now, even if this is a pretty heavy SUV itself, these 16 and 17 Pilots with the 9-speed are actually pretty light on their feet. Anyways, here's your terrain management system for your all-wheel drive. So if you press it, there's normal, snow, mud, and sand. And if you're really stuck, if you turn off traction control, it'll actually put you in stuck mode. So that's one helpful feature. Also, if you open the door while you're in reverse or drive, the car actually goes back to park. So let me open the door, and it goes back to park by itself. So that's pretty cool. Also, right down here you have some more storage. I like the texture and the design of this cover. You just pull it back with that. Here are the headphones for the rear entertainment system. So down here you have some storage, like I said before. You have a power outlet, an aux jack, and a USB port. It is 2.5 amps. That's pretty nice. And like the front tray, it has a rubber mat on it, so it is removable if you spill something. So Honda's thought about that. Looking at the glove box, it is damped and you can lock it with a key. It's pretty decently sized. It's not too big, but it's not small. You have your wheel locks in there. They are optional. Your owner's manual is in there, and your owner's manual disc, which is the full disc. So coming up top, you have an auto-dimming rearview mirror. You have LED map lights. Here's your garage home link, your door settings, your light settings to turn them on, door, or off. And here's your passenger side light control. And since this is the Elite, you have the panoramic moonroof, but only the front moonroof opens. So to do that, you just click the sunroof button all the way back to open it. It is one touch, and then all the way forward to close it. And then you just push it up to tilt it. And then closing it is always forward. Now these seats are pretty comfortable. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I would definitely not mind sitting in these seats for an extended period of time. The passenger side door panel is pretty much the same, and you have storage down there, and that soft touch material all throughout there, and more of that piano black. Your blind spot monitors are on both sides. On the Touring you have the lane watch camera, but on the Elite you only have the blind spot monitor. I sort of like the lane watch because, especially downtown in DC, or just anywhere in the city, bicyclists come out of nowhere, and you really don't want to be taking a right turn and then running a bicyclist right into you, or running right into a bicyclist. So the camera's a pretty helpful thing. I sort of wish Honda kept the camera, but also added the blind spot monitor. We'll see how that goes. But it's on both sides, like right there. A little orange light would show up if someone was in your blind spot. You also have adjustable visors with lights and mirrors. It's pretty nice feeling material. So let's get in the back of the Pilot. So when you close the door of the car with the key in your pocket, or just on you in general, and the engine's still running, the car's gonna beep at you just to warn you that it doesn't detect the key anymore. So getting in the back, you have that same black perforated leather with stitching. Seats are pretty soft. You have rear sunshades. This is plastic right here, but you still have that leather material right there, and cup holders right there, and some storage, and your speaker. They are reclinable and adjustable forwards and backwards. So the driver's seat's all the way back, and my seat is pretty much almost all the way forward, and I have about 2 inches of legroom, but if I slide my seat back, I have maybe 2 more inches, so I'd say about 4. These seats are pretty adjustable. They are reclinable, like I said before. You have 2 map pockets right there on both sides. Now, only on the Elite, it is a 7-passenger SUV. Everything other than that is 8 passengers. So you have 2 captain's chairs, which is very nice. I wish this center console was a little taller though. But you have 2 decently sized cup holders and a place to put your phone, or whatever you're doing in the back of the car. You have 2 air vents here. Here your rear climate controls, your on-off button, your different modes, fan speeds right there, temperature control, and your little LCD which shows the temperature. Your rear seats are heated, only the second row seats, only on the Elite. Here's 2 2.5 amp USB ports. I like that Honda's incorporated a lot more USB ports in their cars. Here's a 115 volt power outlet, so you could plug in an Xbox. And you also have an HDMI port. Here are your video and audio ports, 2 extra headphone jacks with their volume right there. And the floor of the Pilot, there's no hump for the transmission or whatever. Barely visible, just really small. You don't even feel it when you're sitting in the middle. But you wouldn't be sitting in the middle since this is only 7 passengers. So up here you have your rear entertainment system. Here's your remote. It is removable if you click that and then it just pops out. There's the screen. You turn it on with that green button right there. So right up here you can control the radio with this. You can plug in your Xbox or whatever in there too, and that would just show up on that screen. And you can watch DVDs with Blu-ray or just regular DVDs up there. Now another feature about the Elite is that you have the rear moonroof, but this one doesn't open, you only have a sunshade. So it's the second button on the right to open the sunshade. It is one touch. With the sunshade open, you definitely feel the car is a lot bigger. You feel like you have a lot more headroom than you actually do. But you do have a lot of headroom thanks to the moonroof. I have about, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 inches of headroom left. I don't know. But that's a lot. You have your light controls right there. And your passenger side door panel. Pretty much identical. These seats are actually very comfortable too. You have child latches right there for a child seat. I really wouldn't mind sitting back here on a road trip. Like, this is one of the more comfortable cars in its segment, from the first to the third row. So let's check out the third row while we speak about it. So to get in the third row, it is electric, so you just push this button, and then the seat slides forward for you. It's not too hard to get in the back of this car. So back here, you just pull it back to lock it in place. Okay. So legroom, I'm actually pretty comfortable in here, in the back. The only problem that I have with the third row of the Pilot is that my legs are pretty high up from the cushion, so that's a little bit of an issue, but not too bad. Now you have air vents in the third row as well. The third row seats aren't heated, but that's okay. I wouldn't really mind. In the back, this is all plastic, so the materials sort of deteriorate as you go back. So the armrest isn't even leather padded, but you do have some storage and small cup holders there and there. Now visibility in the Pilot is very good. There's not really any place where you would have a blind spot. Even out of the third row, I can see pretty well. And headroom in the third row is very good compared to, for example, the Toyota Highlander. I didn't really have as much headroom as, to be comfortable. But it was an acceptable third row, I would say, in just being there for a little bit of time. But I wouldn't mind being here with another person in the back of this car. But you can fit 3 people in the third row of this car. Now the third row seats are reclinable too. I'll show you that later. You just pull this tab right here and then you can bring it forward or bring it backwards more. So it's pretty adjustable back here. So let's check out the trunk of the Pilot. So to get in the trunk of the Pilot, you can either press the button on the inside of the car, press the button on the tailgate, or just press the power tailgate button on the remote. One of the faster power tailgates. So behind the third row, you have 16.5 cubic feet of volume. Behind the second row, with the third row folded, you can just do it with one hand. You have 46.8 cubic feet of volume. And behind the first row, with the second row and third row folded, you have 83.9 cubic feet of volume. So you get good storage space in this Pilot. You also have storage underneath here, and your spare tires all the way underneath. And you can flip this tray backwards and forwards by just removing it. And then you don't have to worry about spilling anything with using this. So your rear subwoofer is right there. You have some lower storage on both sides there. There's a power outlet back there. And there's your funnel for your capless fuel filler to use an external tank. So to close the tailgate, you just press this button. So let's check out what's under the hood of the new Pilot. So the hood release is right in the middle of the Honda logo. Just click it to the right. It's not strut assisted though. So under the hood of the Pilot, you have a 3.5 liter direct injected 24 valve V6 that makes 280 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. On the Elite model, all-wheel drive is standard. It's also torque vectoring too, and that's going to a 9-speed automatic transmission. So you should be expecting about 19 miles per gallon in the city, 26 on the highway, and a combined rating of 22, using regular unleaded fuel. Now the engine usually doesn't sound like this. That's just the cooling fan, because it's almost 80 degrees outside right now. It'll usually be a lot quieter than that. And there goes the fan. So let's hear how the Pilot sounds. Pretty nice. So let's check out the exterior by turning on the headlights, fog lights, and hazards. So first of all, you have chrome door handles. Right here you have manual folding, power adjustable, and heated mirrors with LED turn signal indicators on them. Down here you have 20-inch wheels on the Touring and Elite trims, and they're wrapped around 245/50 R20 tires. They're all seasons, of course. Now here are your LED daytime running lights. It's not really flashing in real life, it's just the camera. So you have LED low beams, halogen high beams. The low beams are projectors and the high beams are reflectors. You have halogen turn signals and fog lights down below. Now that is definitely one way to distinct a Touring from an Elite. First of all, the different headlights, and second of all, you don't have the lane watch camera, for example on that EXL. But I really do like the exterior styling of the new Pilots. Ever since they first came out, I've been in love with them. You also have parking sensors, by the way, front and rear, but it really does look nice, especially in the black. I also like the gray gunmetal, I believe. They look good in that. You also have ventilated front and rear brakes. They are four-wheel discs, and you have four-wheel independent front and rear suspension. I also like the design of these wheels, but you can get an all-black wheel. But I wish there, just like the Ridgeline, I wish there was a black edition with the black grille and the black wheels, since you can get the black wheels as an accessory, not only on the Touring and Elite, but you can on an EX or EXL. Now on the Touring and Elite, you have these small roof rails, and you can also get crossbars. The roof rails are standard, but as you can see on the EXL, they're optional. Now back here you have LED taillights, brake lights, and halogen turn signals. Your reverse lights are all the way on the bottom, but I like the rear end of the Pilots too. Like the headlights, the taillights aren't actually flashing in person, that's just the camera. But I really do like the design of the Pilot. You also have the optional accessory mud guards. That's what they look like without it. But I really do like the rear end of the Pilot too. This is where most people think it looks like a van because the third row window slopes up in a way. I personally don't see that. I've never really seen it looking like a van. So by the way, behind that cover is where your tow hitch would be. So front-wheel drive Pilots can tow up to 3,500 pounds. And all-wheel drive Pilots, like this one, can tow up to 5,000 pounds. So that's right around where all the other competitors can tow. The Nissan Pathfinder and the Dodge Durango tow the highest out of the segment, with the Durango being around 7,000 pounds with the V8 model, and the Durango is the only one that you can get with the V8. Everything else is a V6. So right here, your rear parking sensors on that rear cladding. Here's your backup camera, and your tailgate release, and your lock button. Now all Pilots have the rear spoiler standard, and there's your rear wiper. You also have your third brake light and shark fin antenna. And of course this is an Elite with the badge. You have a hidden single exhaust tip underneath the bumper. I don't really like that. I hope Honda brings back the exhaust tip, because the MDX did, but the Pilot still is hidden, but whatever. There's just another view of your passenger side mirror. So other models would have the camera right here. I'll show an EXL right now with the camera showing underneath the mirror, but only on the Elite you get blind spot monitors on both sides and no lane watch camera. But on the passenger side you do get LED turn signals just like the driver's side. So the trim levels of the Pilot start at the LX, which is $30,595, the EX, which is $33,030, the EXL, which is $36,455, the Touring, which is $41,670, and the Elite, like our model, which is $47,070. So the 9-speed automatic only comes on the Touring and Elite, while the LX through EXL get the 6-speed automatic. All-wheel drive is optional on the LX through Touring, but standard on the Elite. All-wheel drive is an $1,800 option for optional models, and CarPlay is available from the EX and above. So the main competitors of the 2017 Pilot are other mid-size SUVs such as the 2017 Toyota Highlander, the 2017 Nissan Pathfinder, the 2017 Ford Explorer, the 2017 Kia Sorento, the 2017 Hyundai Santa Fe, the 2017 GMC Acadia, the 2017 Dodge Durango, and the upcoming 2018 Subaru Ascent, which isn't really out yet, but it should be debuted very soon. So I hope you all enjoyed getting up close and personal with the 2017 Honda Pilot Elite with me today. If you have any questions about the Elite, just leave them in the comments below. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It's free. I post new videos every week. Well, I try to. Also, special shout out to Sport Honda for letting me come film the new Pilot today. And I'll see you guys in the next video.